Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm filming a video that I talked about like a long time ago that I was going to film, which was my advice video to young girls. A lot of you had private messaged me some questions when I had said I was doing a Q&A about like partying, boys, drinking, all that sort of thing, and it would have been way too long to cover in that video, so here I am kind of covering and giving you my thoughts in this video. I want to kind of put a disclaimer out there that I'm not here to say what's right, what's wrong, what you should and shouldn't be doing. This is kind of just my experience and what I've found to be true for myself and my friends. So take it with a grain of salt, but a lot of you guys who messaged me were pretty young, and I would say a lot of what you're doing can be really harmful and kind of put you in a place that you don't want to be. So I'm just going to kind of go ahead and give you my thoughts. So first message that I got, I'm obviously not going to share the names because I think a lot of these girls wanted to keep that private, which is why they direct messaged me on YouTube. So you've talked about not being a party girl / drinker in past videos, like your 50 Facts About Me tag. I was just wondering how you don't give in to the pressure by friends or peers who have this lifestyle. Sorry for the private messaging. My friends watch a lot of YouTube videos and I didn't want them to come across my question. And also I'm underage, so technically it is illegal to drink. Where to start here? How do I not give in to the peer pressure? I think I've kind of passed that stage. So in a way, I just want you to know that it does kind of get better and easier when you get older, because I mean, it's not like partying is going to go away. If anything, when you turn the legal age, you have more occasions and more reason to party in a way. So there kind of will still be that pressure. But as you get older, people kind of do it for different reasons. They're not really trying to just do it and be cool. It's more like that's what they want to do. That's how they want to spend their free time. They want to party. They enjoy it. They enjoy that lifestyle, which, you know, is fine if that's what they enjoy to do. And if you don't want to do that, people won't really be judging you for it and not think you're cool. It's kind of just like to each their own. When you reach a certain age, I think you definitely can still feel a pressure in a way just because everyone's kind of doing it and that's how they like to spend their time, but it doesn't mean that like that's how you need to be spending your time. And it doesn't mean either like if you do go out with your friends that they're going to be like, you need to drink, if not you're like not in our friendship group, or you need to do drugs or whatever. Like, it's not like that anymore. People are kind of just like to each their own. If you don't want to do it, fine, but I'm gonna do it. And you kind of just have to have an open mind and be okay with that, because you're going to find that a lot of, if not most of your friends will be doing some stuff like that, which I've kind of grown up to be like, I don't really have a problem with it. As long as you're being safe and you're not like endangering yourself, that's one thing. But I think there's also a fine line between, you have to reach that maturity and that age where you're doing this because that's what you want to do and you think that's what in a way benefits you or how you have a good time. You can't be, I think it's all about doing it for the right reasons. If you're just like 13 or 14 years old, I don't think it's right for you to be doing all this, because I really don't think you're in the right mindset to be making these decisions, because like you said, there's so much pressure and there's so much influence and everybody's just kind of doing it to fit in. And I personally never did anything like that before I was of age, and I think that's just because, yes, I'm kind of like a good girl, I guess you could say, but it's also because I kind of realized that none of that would make me happy. If anything, it would just make me really miserable. I was also lucky because at the time I had a really good group of friends and none of us were really into that. So I would say the easiest way to kind of not give in to that sort of thing is to surround yourself, if possible, with people that are your age, that, you know, are also like you and that don't necessarily want to experience those things just yet. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying no. I know that can be really hard and you have to be very, you know, in a way brave and confident in yourself to be able to say no. But if you surround yourself with the right people, it makes it a lot easier. So I would say to just, like I said, surround yourself with people that are similar to you. I know this is going to sound like what everyone says and you're probably really tired of hearing this, but if your friends are pressuring you into doing these things and they say like, if you don't do this, like we won't be your friend, they're not real friends. And I know that's hard to accept when you're so young, because you're like, well, everyone's doing it, so why couldn't I? And like, you might try it out and, you know, you might be okay, but it's just going to bring you into situations of feeling uncomfortable, and it might push you to do things that you don't want to do. So if you can just avoid those situations altogether, that almost might be best. Like I said, if not, surround yourself with good friends and those that, just want to be with you because to do these things. Well, you'll realize sooner or later that they don't have your best interests at heart if they're not respecting your wishes and what you want to do with your life. So that's kind of how I would answer that one. My next question was, you seem so sure of yourself and confident. I find this such an attractive quality and I wish I could give the same impression to people. I'm very introverted and shy, but mostly extremely self-conscious. Any tips on being more confident? How do you put forth such a strong, confident persona? Well, thank you. That is very nice of you to say. I think everyone to a certain extent has dealt with these feelings and these issues. I used to be, as a kid, like a little bit more shy than I am now. I was never a very shy person, but in situations where I was uncomfortable and I didn't know a lot of people, still I can tend to like be a little bit more quiet. But in general, like, I kind of am more of an extroverted person. Like you see me on camera, I'm very bubbly and talkative. So that's kind of, in that way, has never been an issue for me. But I would just say you kind of have to fake it till you make it, in a way. If you are an introverted, shy person, then go with it. Don't try and change yourself to being like a more extroverted, outgoing person if that's not who you are. Because then it's not going to come across as natural and as an attractive quality if it feels forced, I would just say be who you are, which I know is cliche and hard to do when you're young, but just discover what makes you you and what makes you happy. And I think from there, it's going to be a lot easier to just be like, yeah, this is me, and take it or leave it. Some people, it takes all kind of people to make this world. And yeah, you might envy the person that when they walk into the room, everyone like veers towards them. But that doesn't mean that you can't be that way because you're like introverted and shy. If you, are a really caring person, I'm trying to talk too fast. If you're a really caring person and a generous and genuine person, people will be attracted to that because they need someone in their life to listen to them and to be giving and generous and kind-hearted. We need all kinds of people in our life, and just because you're not the person that everyone's gonna go to for like the fun, energetic time doesn't mean that they're not going to want you or need you in their life. So I think I would just be yourself as much as possible, and with time you'll grow to love yourself and to realize all the amazing things that you offer. And I think at that point, when you kind of realize that, that's when you become more confident in yourself, and that's in a way when you can start to open up. If you're kind of like more closed off, you're going to start to open up and maybe be a little bit more talkative or a little bit more outgoing. Those are kind of usually when you get that chance to show yourself off to the world, is when you grow comfortable with yourself. So I would just say take it one step at a time. First, figure out who you are, what you like to do, and what makes you special to the people around you. And then you're going to be able to, exude that to other people, and just people are going to love you and want you in their life for being you. And my last advice question, the girl said, all my friends are all my friends are experimenting with boys and even girls, going to mixed parties, kissing, making out, and even hooking up. I feel behind on everyone else. It's not really that I want to be doing any of this, but some of my friends say I should have fun and try things out. It's not so much that I feel pressured, but more that I feel like I'm missing out because I'm not doing it like everyone else is. Your thoughts? This one, what's going on with my hair? This one really rings true, like near and dear to my heart, because I have always kind of felt that way and been that way to a certain extent. The first thing I would say is, as much as right now you feel like you're your own person and you're independent and you're old enough to be doing all these things, you're only 14 years old. And by no means am I saying like I'm so much older than you, so much wiser, like not at all. But you still have a lot to learn, not just about the world, but mostly about yourself, because you said you don't really feel pressured, you just feel like you're missing out, which is kind of good, because the worst thing you could do is give in to pressure, because that means you're not ready for any of these things and you're just giving in because everyone else is doing it, which is never a good thing, just because in the end, it's not about what you're doing. Like, yes, it's not always good when you're so young to be experimenting with all these things, but it's more so that in the end, you're going to end up alone, sad, and miserable, and you're not going to feel love, and you're going to feel like you're missing out on other things that you really would have wanted for yourself. So I would just say at this age, you need to focus on having good friends. So just, if you're not ready and you feel like your friends not are pressuring you, but are telling you you're missing out, you have to be open and honest with them and just tell them how it is and say, listen, I'm really glad that you're enjoying this and that you feel comfortable and open talking about this and doing this, but I'm not there yet, and I really need you to respect that. And, I'm glad to, talk about it with you and all that sort of thing, but I'm not going to be doing this yet, so don't try and talk me into it, sort of thing. I think that it's important you focus on your friends, on your school, on your family, because this is a time in your life you're never going to get back. And if you do things that you're going to have a chance to do for the rest of your life, you might regret it, and you might feel like you missed out on things that you could have been doing, like focusing on school and friends and just having a good, sweet, innocent little time, when drinking and all those sort of things will be around your whole life and will cause enough trouble as is, so you don't need to get into it any sooner than really is necessary, As far as boys and girls and mixed parties, making out and all that sort of thing, you're not really missing out on much. Honestly, things just get more and more complicated as you introduce partying and boys and girls and all that into the mix. Your life is just going to get more and more complicated. Enjoy the times where, you're just happy being you. And I think that at such a young age, again, it's just so important. Like, I still don't fully know who I am and what I want. I'm starting to figure it out, and I think that that's a really great point to be, because you start to know what you want out of life and where you want to go, and that's when you can start to make these kind of decisions surrounding like what you want from a guy or a girl, or what you want from, a relationship, a friendship, like all that sort of thing. But at being such a young age, you don't really know anything about yourself yet. So throwing other factors like drugs and sex and all that sort of thing into the mix is just really going to complicate things. And I think in a way it's going to delay you figuring yourself out, and it's just going to cause more hurt than anything else. So you're not really missing out on anything, to be honest. Like, you might feel like it, but I can guarantee that, maybe this all just is very new to you guys and your friends are like still wrapped up in all the fun and excitement of it. But after a while, after that settles down, like, you're gonna see that there's not really much to it. There's not really anything rewarding or substantial to all of this, and you're kind of gonna feel just empty and like lonely maybe. So I just find that for such a young age, you have so much more to be offering the world and to be doing. So I wouldn't feel like you're missing out, and definitely if you don't feel pressure, then just kind of withdraw from those things. If you don't want to go, just don't go. And if you do go, just be strong, and whatever you value and you think is important and what you stand for, then stick by it. That's the most important thing that I could tell you, which I know can be hard if you're surrounded by a lot of people that really are doing all these things, but in the end, you're going to be happier that you waited and you did all of this on your own terms for the right reasons than just doing it to get it over with, And if you did do that sort of thing and just get it over with, then that's fine. Like, I mean, you can't like hold a grudge on yourself and be ashamed or anything like that for forever, because then you're just going to be missing out on other things. So whatever is your situation, what you have and have not done, I would just say embrace it and stick with what you think is important at this point in your life. If you don't feel ready, if you don't want to go to the next step, don't let anyone make you feel like you have to, because at the end of the day, you only have yourself. Friends and relationships will come and go, but you have yourself that you have to be okay with, and that at the end of the day, you have to be able to go to sleep peacefully and accept what you've done and who you are. And so that's really what's most important. However you choose to do that, that's up to you. But I would say at such a young age, I would really focus on doing things that you like, discovering what you want to do and what you want to get from life, which, doesn't just take a month. It takes years in the making. And eventually these things will happen for the right reasons, in due time. and then you're going to be happy that you've waited and that it happened the right way. And if you haven't waited and you just got it over with, then I would just say it doesn't define you, and you can continue to be happy and like move on from it. And it doesn't mean you need to stay in that path because that's who you are, just because you've tried things or you've done things a few times. That's the biggest thing I would say, is it doesn't define you. And if you don't want to be that person, or you've had something happen to you that you didn't want to happen to you, it doesn't define you, and you can continue to be a better and stronger person from it, and you can just go on in your own way to grow and be who you want to be. So I don't even know if that like made any sense, or if that was even remotely helpful, but I really hope it was. Whatever you choose to do, just know that, you know, you're young and you have a lot of time ahead of you to love yourself and figure yourself out and grow confident. So just try and nourish that and grow as a person as much as possible in your teenage years and in your like early 20s, which is still what I'm doing. I guess life is just like a learning experience, and you never fully know everything, and you never fully are happy with everything, but it's kind of just like a journey, and you kind of have to take it one step at a time. And if you've made mistakes, learn from them. That's the most important thing in my mind. I don't think that partying and doing all these things is really a smart idea when you're that young. But that being said, it doesn't mean that you can't overcome it. You can't focus on that. You kind of have to focus on the future and where you want to be and where you want to go. And I think that that's the most important thing that you can take from this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was somewhat helpful to some of you. I really just tried to put myself back into my 13, 14-year-old self and just speak from the heart, because that's truly, you know, I've felt what you guys have felt, most people have, and it's completely normal, and you're going to be okay. Just know in a few years this will blow over, you will mature, and things will just get better. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thumbs up if you enjoyed, and any of you who are even older than me and have even better advice to give, please leave it in the comments down below, because I'm sure a lot of these girls would appreciate hearing from you guys. So definitely leave some comments down below with what you guys think of these situations, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!